Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelly. I'm so glad you guys are here. Just in case you guys were curious, this is not my normal regular filming situation. I'm in the middle of, I don't know, 2 or 3 months of being in a temporary location because I broke my ankle. I'll link a video if you want to hear more about that. Anyway, I promised you guys that I would continue to still kind of just try to film and stuff like that. I know some of you guys have given me a pass and you've said, you don't need to. Take a break. It's okay. We'll still be here. We love you. I appreciate that so much. However, this is a lot for me. You have to understand, I'm not a monetized channel, right? I'm not a professional YouTuber. This is not my main job. This is my release. This is my stress reliever. Connecting with you guys is my way to connect with other human beings. And so it's as much for me as hopefully you get something out of it in return. Otherwise, this is a one-sided relationship. I am thrilled every time you guys comment, just give me some sort of interaction. That makes a huge difference. I brushed my hair. I've been a little dry shampoo and brushed it, but I haven't actually thrown any curl in it yet. And we've got to leave here in a couple hours, but I had some time. So let me get my scooted chair here, scoot it up here. Okay, I picked up a number of new things that came in right before I broke my ankle and have kind of trickled in over the past week. Today, I have a little bit of a reason to get out of the house, which has been far and few between in the last, I don't know, last week plus. But I did pick up this palette, Dominique Cosmetics Essentials palette. And when I first saw this came out, I want to think like November of 2022. I just purchased it in January and it came very quickly. She must be a California-based distribution center or something because it did come relatively quickly. But when I first saw this palette, I thought, is this like a smaller version of Transitions? I mean, it seems like, but Transitions I think is mostly matte. But this came out and I was like, it's a brown palette. Explains why she called it Essentials, because everybody needs like that essential brown palette, right? Well, today I thought would be a good day to do an eye look with it. I've already got a bunch of stuff on my face. I'm not going to do 3 looks with this palette. If you want me to come back and do them, let me know, because it's currently up on the floor that I'm living in, so I don't have to go down and try to send somebody to find it. But to bring up to speed on what I've got on my face, I've got Charlotte Tilbury concealer. I've got the Patrick Ta for face, the cream foundation on here, not the powder. I do have a little bit of the ND Natasha Denona Cupid Cheek Dough, just the blush, not the highlighter. And I also have a little of the Kaleidos contour, this middle cool toned one, not the bronzery type one. But that's what I've got going on right now. Oh, and my Benefit eyebrow pencil that it's the one I always use. Oh, and I have a Sigma eye primer on. This is one of their cream eyeshadows. What does she call it? Persuade? Yeah, it says it's an eyeshadow based primer and this is in shade Persuade. So I have that going on right now. Let's just do a look with this. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I did also pick up a set of her eyeshadow brushes. I haven't ever used her eyeshadow brushes before. And so there's 5 brushes in this little kit. We're gonna unwrap them. I do prefer to wash my brushes before I use them the first time. Do I think it's critical? No, not really, but it's just kind of a personal preference. So these are like a plastic, lightweight plastic, and then this one has a little tiny angled brush in it that'll be good for liner, potentially smudging things out. Looks like I've got a flat brush in here. I'm trying to think if they have names. Do they have names on them? I think this, I don't know if I'm reading this right, but I think it says DSOS, the pigment. I don't know what that is. What does the first one say? Oh, that must be the number. Okay, so this one's called The Blade. This one's called The Pigment. This one's called The Packer. The Crease Blur is this next one. And the last one is called The Blend and Shade. So relatively, you know, accurate full length of eyeshadow brushes. If you use multiple brushes, there's been times I've done one brush. One brush and a finger and we call it good. I don't have a whole lot of real estate on my eyelid because I do have smaller close set hooded eyes. But we're gonna try to, oh, I should have also said, I neglected to say this. I did grab a Dominique Cosmetics lipstick. I might've gotten this one when I got the Of the Moment or The Moment, I can't remember what it's called, palette. But this is kind of a, you know, a little bit more of a cool toned mauve-y brown shade. And I also used this eyeliner, or this lip liner, not eyeliner, this lip liner from Natasha Denona. This happened to be one that I had in my handful of liners that I grabbed. All right, so this is a palette that's made up of half mattes, half shimmers of some kind, and there is a mirror with a protective thing over it. I'm gonna leave that on here. It looks like it says Beauty Inside and Out, which is what she usually has written on the inside of, or at least I noticed has the inside of the boxes right here. It also says that. This does look like a perfectly everyday essential palette. We've got a super dark shade, which you can use to line or to smoke out things or to go super dramatic for date night. You've got a little bit of kind of a mauve-y wine color in here, which is nice if you like to make things slightly more pink for whatever you're wearing that day. We have this light vanilla. I love the fact that it's a matte because I prefer to have mattes in my inner corner as a highlight, so we'll definitely be using that. The shimmers are kind of a good range, right? We've got this sort of gray tone. If you're not a cool tone gray lover, that's fine too. We don't have anything that's too orangey. These two, like that one's slightly more taupe undertone, this one's slightly more copper or bronzy undertone. This is it looks almost like more like a satin. So I'm gonna probably use that on the outside of my outside of my eye to give my eye kind of some distance from my nose. That one actually is really pretty too. That could be a nice light look. I think if it were me, I would probably, really rely on these shades for a work look, because I tend to work in a corporate environment that is a little bit more conservative anyway. And for date night, I think I would definitely rely on this dark black and maybe this as a contrast to sort of bring it some interest. So I'm gonna do a look right now. Where I have to go, I'm not the center of attention, as usually is the case. I'm excited to play with this kind of new palette because I've actually really enjoyed the Dominique Cosmetics formula. I've used a number of her palettes. I have a number of them. And so when I saw this again, I was like, do I already have that? I'm gonna go into this darkest shade right here called Confident, and I'm gonna pick it up with the packer brush too. It does have a little bit of a shimmer, it feels creamy to the brush. I'm getting no kick up, no fallout at all on this so far. And I'm not a makeup artist. If you guys are new here, I just really, really love makeup and I really love playing with makeup. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any creases in that primer. So we're just gonna kind of pack this on the outside. No skipping, nothing patchy at all on that. Again, I'm a lady of a certain age. I do have, the age-related challenges that come with that. I'm feeling very crepey under my eyelids these days, you guys. That's the sleeping on the couch for a week and waking up in pain. I don't recommend that. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, this video is gonna be short, but this palette, I just received this. You may or may not be starting the new year with a fresh, neutral, everyday palette, and so I figured we'd just give it a shot here. Yeah, I'm really liking that rich brown shade. That's beautiful. It's giving me a good base. I will do some blending out here. I just wanted to take advantage of their packer shade here. Okay, I'm actually gonna clean off that brush just a little bit with my Sigma switch. I'm torn between these two. I really wanna use both of them, but I think I'm gonna use this one. So the first shade I used was called Confident. This one is called K Linda, which is what, that's pretty? Something like that. Isn't Linda pretty? Okay. That one feel like it got a little chunky. We're gonna start it within the center and see what that looks like. This may be one that you want to spray your brush or use a finger on. I'm just gonna kind of overlap a little bit here with a darker shade so that it blends a little bit. Kind of a pretty shade. And I apologize that the light comes in and out. I normally film downstairs in my bedroom with studio lights, and I don't have the ability to go downstairs right now. It's gonna be a little bit before I'm able to go downstairs with any kind of confidence. I did make one foray down there and I had to scooch myself down with my arms and my butt holding my leg up. My husband was very supportive and he did not laugh at me, not one single time. And then getting up too was the same kind of situation. That's a pretty color. I did not go all the way into my inner corner. I think I want to take this shade right here, which is the lightest shade. That's a lightest shimmer shade. I'm gonna bring the element for this. One's called Pretty Kind. I don't know if I'm picking up very much, but let's just see here. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm filming in front of open windows and I normally don't film in natural daylight. The challenge of that is, if today I've got blue sky, yesterday I was overcast, so my lighting in my videos are going to be inconsistent. I apologize for that. My lighting in my videos have always been a little inconsistent because for the longest time I didn't know how to use the camera. I still don't really know how to use a camera. It's a great camera. I've been using the same camera for a little over two years now, almost 2.5 years. And I really like the audio quality in it. I don't use an external microphone. I have one, but I realized I just didn't really need it. And I know a lot of YouTubers do, and they really like it, but this one has pretty good audio. In fact, you're probably hearing my heater on. I've got a heat register in this room. Another reason why I don't normally film in here. And it's loud, it picks up a lot of sound. So the camera picks up a lot of sound, and then I've got some extra ambient noise in here. Okay, that was just the same brush that I used for the whole application. It's called the pigment brush. Oh shoot, you know what? That was the packer. I used that to pack on. This one's called the pigment. I'm gonna actually use this one to pick up positivity, and we're gonna put that in my inner corner. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I needed. I love a clean, bright, matte inner corner. Cover up a little of that discoloration I have in there. And actually I'm gonna, because it's a nice matte, I'm gonna put a little bit of up here. I've got one little freckle right here that I'm gonna use that to kind of cover over a little bit. Not entirely cover it, but make it a little bit more minimal. Minimize it. And this is just kind of lifting that arch ever so slightly without doing anything that's shimmery and gonna draw attention to it. I still have to blend in. I'm just jumping around here in case you wondered what I was doing. And now I've got this other one that's called a crease and blur. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna pick up this lightest tan matte color in here called Compassion. And I'm gonna use this to ever so gently blend the dark shade. And it doesn't really need to show up that much. I'm just using it to kind of blend it out and soften it up a little bit. And we'll bring it all the way in here. Not truly a crease shade for me. I mean, I could use it as a crease shade. I'm not using it today as a crease shade. It's one that I maybe would use if I were wearing glasses or I was just doing like a work look. But I'm kind of using this small little detail brush here to blend out that shade and give it a little more softness instead of having harsh lines. Look at me telling you what I'm doing, like I know what I'm doing. I don't, in case you guys are curious. I just have been doing makeup for a really long time. I have no professional training other than YouTube, other than watching, you know, master classes with Natasha Denona or some of my favorite content creators. I think they're the ones that have, either their personalities or their skill level have given me some confidence. I have a palette that's coming in that is completely out of my comfort zone, and I was watching one of my favorite regular posters, regular beauty YouTube. I'm gonna call her a guru. She's got over 200,000 subscribers. Not somebody who has, you know, all like millions, but she's got enough, and I like her personality, so I watch her quite a bit. And she posts regularly. I mentioned that part, right? She got this palette in. I just saw that she had posted a video the day that I'm filming this, and mine should be here tomorrow. And I thought because her aesthetic is so different than mine, I'm a neutral lover, right? I'm a monochromatic, smoky eye lady of a certain age. She's a good 10 to 13 years younger than I am, and she's full on vibrant color. I kind of want to recreate one of her looks. I kind of want to see what it looks like on me if I follow her tutorial. So there you go. Okay, the shade's blended beautifully. I love the way it looks right now. It's classy. It still has my monochromatic smoky look. I'm gonna grab the blade brush here and go into the black, and I'm just gonna use this on my upper eyelid here to darken up and sort of lift and elongate that lash line. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow, and we're taking her out to dinner tonight, and I can hear my husband out there starting to wrap the presents that I told him I needed to wrap before we left for his gig. He's got a band, right? And originally we booked the show with his lead guitarist and himself as a duo because the drummer wasn't going to be available. Now the drummer's like, I'm not sure if I can do it or not. Didn't think we were available. And then, but my stepdaughter, who's Virgil's daughter, is a working professional musician. She's performing multiple days a week. Like, this is her main job in her career. And she's gonna actually play with Virgil tonight because the guitarist got sick. He doesn't have COVID. He thought he had COVID, but he tested positive with an at-home test and then went to the doctor. The doctor said, no, you don't have COVID. Okay, so I used that. I wanted to use this blue eyeliner because I love blue against brown eyes. You guys have heard me say that. So I'm gonna actually throw a little bit of this on top of that black. It's not gonna really show up as blue, but it might pop my eye color just a little bit. It's maybe a little bit severe. I'm gonna have to smudge that out, I think, a little bit. I'm not gonna do any waterline with this. I'm just gonna drag this down here underneath my lash line a little bit. And I'm gonna take a bronzy color. Where's that one? I have this one from ColourPop. I'm gonna use this for my waterline because it's a little coppery, a little something different. Sometimes when I do a dark color on my waterline, I get a lot of, or my eyes get smaller. And I think this is just actually really pretty. And I'm gonna just continue it underneath my lash line and connect it to that blue. The individual colors aren't gonna stand out so much. So hopefully it just kind of gives cohesion to it. And then I'm gonna take that black blade, that black brush that I used with the blade brush that I used with the black shadow, cleaning it off again so it's mostly clean. And I'm gonna use this to kind of smudge a little bit here. That blue, I don't want it to be too severe. Yeah, kind of soften it up a little bit. Now, I'm doing this and it's gonna be, you know, daytime. It's not a nighttime gig. I'm gonna take a little bit more of this lighter shade on my finger this time. And I'm gonna press it right over the top of that blue that I've smudged just a little bit because I wanted a little bit more lift and roundness, which means I gotta bring a little bit more light into the center. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna kind of further soften that blue. Okay, I'm actually really liking the way this is looking. It's gonna be good. Let me put some mascara on. Okay, you guys, mascara is on. I'm just gonna take this, what is this, a blender brush? Hold on. This is blend and shade. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this blender brush and just kind of soften up around the outside here a little bit. I'm not a master blender, but it's a relatively clean brush, and I think I've used all the brushes. We're just gonna kind of blend it in that top shade. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna do as far as the makeup. I'm not unhappy with it. I have to still do something with my hair, but that'll only take me a few minutes. So let's talk about this palette here. So this, again, Dominique Cosmetics, this is the Essential Palette. I think it came out last November. I don't have my reading glasses on. It does look like there is a 24-month shelf life at Dominique Cosmetics, hashtag Dominique Cosmetics, Kristen Dominique on YouTube. We'll get you there, DominiqueCosmetics.com. The print on it is too light for me to make out without finding reading glasses right now. So unfortunately, I can't give you much more information. If you want more, let me know. When I put my glasses on, then I'll fill in the blanks here. I don't always link the products that I'm using, mainly because I'm not a sponsored, affiliated, monetized channel. So it's extra work for me to do, which I don't mind doing, but I don't always remember, especially if I'm in a rush to get something filmed and uploaded for you guys. So I apologize for that. You can always find information. If I try to read them off, you'll find it in the transcript if you do want to go through the effort of doing that. If not, just send me a message, just ask me and say, hey, what was that shade, or what's the link for it? And if you're curious, I have no problem providing that information to you. If I can find it and it makes it easier for you, then that's perfectly fine with me too. All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. I think I'm about ready to head out. I'm gonna put the little setting spray on, throw a few curls in my hair, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.